The wind whispered through the skeletal trees, their bare branches clawing at the sky like pleading hands. The moon, swollen and silver, hung above the forest clearing where Evelyn stood, wrapped in her crimson cloak. She shivered, but not from the cold. The night carried a promise of blood. She had come, as she always did, to meet Caleb. He emerged from the shadows, his dark eyes burning with something both tender and tormented. His hair was tousled by the wind, his breath coming in uneven gasps. "You shouldn't be here," he rasped, his voice thick with strain. "I'm not leaving you," Evelyn whispered, reaching for him. Caleb flinched away, muscles taut beneath his coat. "I can't hold it back this time," he warned. His hands trembled, his veins darkening like ink seeping beneath his skin. The transformation had begun. Evelyn refused to run. She had made a promise, to love him through anything, even this, even the beast. Cracks and pops echoed through the clearing as Caleb's bones twisted, his spine arching unnaturally. A choked cry tore from his throat, deepening into a snarl as his jaw elongated. His hands curled into claws, tearing through his sleeves as thick fur erupted across his arms. His eyes, once warm, turned an eerie, glowing gold. Evelyn backed away only when she saw the last trace of Caleb vanish beneath the monster. A towering, hulking wolf stood before her, its breath steaming in the cold night air. The beast sniffed, its ears twitching, and then its gaze fixed on her, hungry, predatory. "Caleb," she whispered, hoping his name might reach him. The creature's lips curled back, revealing jagged fangs. It lunged. She barely had time to scream. The impact sent her crashing into the cold earth, the wolf's claws sinking into her shoulders. Pain seared through her as hot breath fanned across her face. But even as the beast loomed over her, its golden eyes flickered, just for a moment. It hesitated. A whimper escaped its throat. The human part of Caleb was still there, fighting against the bloodlust. Evelyn reached up with shaking hands, brushing trembling fingers against its fur. "You're still in there," she gasped, wincing at the pressure of its weight against her. "Please." "Caleb, I love you." The beast shuddered violently, its claws twitched, retracting slightly. But then, another howl rang through the night. A second wolf, then a third. They had come for him. The pack emerged from the shadows, their glowing eyes fixated on Caleb and his prey. Their leader, a monstrous silver beast, let out a low growl, a command. "Kill." Caleb's entire body tensed. His breathing grew ragged, torn between instinct and love. Evelyn saw the war raging inside him, the unbearable agony of choice. Tears streamed down her face. "I don't care what you are," she sobbed. "You're still mine." The silver wolf lunged first. With a snarl, Caleb turned, not on Evelyn, but on the pack. He collided with the alpha, his jaws locking around its throat. Blood sprayed into the night as he fought them off, clawing, snapping, refusing to let them take her. Evelyn tried to move, to run, but pain anchored her down. The world spun as the sounds of battle, snarls, yelps, the sickening crunch of bone, filled the air. And then, silence. She turned her head. Caleb stood covered in blood, his chest heaving. Around him, the other wolves lay lifeless, but as he staggered toward her, his form was shifting again. The beast receded, leaving behind the man she loved. He collapsed beside her, his breathing shallow. "Evelyn," he whispered, his fingers brushing her cheek. She cradled him, her sobs mixing with the howling wind. "You came back to me!" A weak, broken smile ghosted his lips. Always. The moonlight shone down upon them, silver and cruel, as his body stilled forever in her arms. And somewhere in the distance, the wolves howled once more.